Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing today? I'm so grateful to be here. It's been an amazing day. The energy is so high. So grateful to the staff here at Air One Psychic Radio, too. You guys are amazing. Let's just chat a little bit before we bring in a caller. So everything is shifting so quickly around us. A lot of you felt the 10-10 portal shift, and now we're getting ready to go into a new moon. So let's just talk about what we can do for the new moon for ourselves and kind of like creating, co-creating, manifesting, whatever you want to call it for yourself. So what can you do for a new moon? So you can definitely charge your crystals outside. You can write an abundance check. You can also sit in manifestation mode. So for me, that means I can sit down and write down what it is I want for myself. And I usually write 3, just to allow the universe to bring to me maybe a bigger thing or something that maybe I hadn't thought of before. So for me, I'd like to manifest a country property with horses and a barn and all that stuff on it. So for me, my new moon is where I would put that. Not that I wouldn't manifest it throughout the days and the weeks as well, but it's a little bit bigger for me, and maybe I want to add more to it and then put the energy of the moon into that. A lot of people ask me, like, what kind of money do I ask for with my abundance check? You can ask for whatever you want. Just make sure you put it as the now moment. So don't write a date on it. You can write your name on it. You can actually get really specific as what you want that money for. So if you want $10,000, from new clients to be able to buy this property or down deposit on a car or whatever, put that on your check, right? So I want $10,000 for this from the abundant universe. You can put any symbols that you want. I put all of my symbols from quantum, Reiki. I put an abundance symbol in the back of my checks. And then I just sit in meditation for a few minutes, just asking the universe to bring it to me and giving gratitude. And then I hide that check, right? So I have an avatar that's set up in my office that I use to hide my checks so that I can't look at them, right? Some people tend to chase after these things. Oh, I wrote that check, but why isn't it here? I wrote that check, where's the money, right? So out of sight, out of mind is very prominent with abundance and manifesting, especially the abundance check. We don't want to keep tapping into it and looking at it, because then we run into a little bit of doubt, which is ego, which is, where is it going to come from? How come it's not here? So we want to stay in that high vibration that says, thank you, universe, for bringing me this money. I'm so grateful to have it now that I can do X, Y, Z. Okay. Charging your crystals and stuff too. You can make moon water if you choose, and then you can drink that. That will help your soul and stuff. A lot of people swear by it. You can also take that moon water and fill it up in a spray bottle and create abundance spray with it, right? And a lot of people do market that and sell it. The other thing that you can do is just sit with yourself. Right? Go sit in the moonlight. If you can go outside, if it's not too cold, go sit in the moonlight, right? So then you're taking in and absorbing that energy from the moon and bringing it into your daily life and bringing it into your, awareness of yourself. You can also use this as a purging tool as well. All right, we're going to go into Becky. Hey, Becky, how are you?
Hello.
Hi,
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you. Do you have a question? I'm going to do questions and healings today.
Well, I'm in kind of a complicated marriage.
Mm-hmm.
We have split up a couple times, but we are back together, and we are trying counseling and things to try to make it work better for us.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop you right there with your question. The first thing that comes up right away before you even open your mouth was that you are not grounded in this relationship or in yourself. Your hips feel so off balance that it's kind of like you're trying to chase this to make it work, and you're trying to chase it to find where you fit in. And for me, if you don't get yourself grounded and balanced in this pelvic region, it's not going to jive. You guys are going to constantly find that the areas that don't work, and that's going to push you guys further apart. So I really feel like you need to get grounded. I'm actually just going to do an adjustment in especially your right hip. It's really catching there. And it's almost like that right leg is shorter than the left. So I'm just going to adjust your sciatic. And let's bring that down and let's ground you out a little bit. I'm just going to go into your chakras and just ground you a little bit more, ground that energy out. The other thing I want to bring up with this relationship with you and this current person is that your communication needs to shift and change for both of you, not just one of you. It really truly feels like you both have this male and masculine energy that's very strong. You both need to be right, and it's got to be, I'm never wrong, which we all want that.
Oh, yes. I understand. That's exactly how we are.
Yeah. So we've got to soften that a little bit between the two of you, right? So how we articulate what we want to say to each other is very key. Slow it down when you guys talk to each other. They're showing me if you guys sit close together on the couch, that doesn't work. It's almost like you've got to be a little bit further apart and you need to face each other and you both need to listen, because it's almost like you need to give the floor to one of you and then the other one, right? It's like, then you guys will stop battling over who's right and who's wrong, right? I also feel like there's a lot of influence. There's a lot of influence coming in from both sides. So he's got friends or family that are sitting there chirping in his ear, and you've got people on the other side. That's not helping either one of you, because you both want to be right.
No, I know, and that's true. That's very true. Social media has we've both made the mistake of posting our problems on social media, and now that's caused a problem.
Yeah. So what I would recommend with that is go back and delete everything. Don't keep any of that stuff up there. Take it all down and then get off social media. Take a month to just be with you and him and see if this is actually going to work. I see both sides. So unless you want to do a private reading with me, we can dive deeper into it. I'm not going to air certain things on here. I don't think that's fair to air it, but I do see both sides. I see you together and I see you apart. And I feel like you guys are either going to sit down and do the work this time, or you're going to separate. And that will solely depend on the two of you. And they're just saying getting the act together is what you guys need to do. Yeah. It's where you align yourself with what it is you actually want. Both of you want different things. And for you, it shows up very strongly in your stomach and your guts, right? So stomach aches, pelvic aches, menstrual stuff, like huge, like ovulation sucks at your house. So
I actually had a gallbladder attack yesterday. I have to have my gallbladder removed.
I just feel like you need to get the anger and stuff under control, and then you can keep it, right? But it's actually attached to that right hip, right? It's in the right hip. It's all pulling upwards, right? You're trying to find this grounding energy, and you're pulling up instead of grounding down. So that's why the gallbladder's in there, right? It's attacking you because you're holding all these emotions of where things don't work. So you've got to start purging it out. Let me just go into your gallbladder and we'll settle it down. I'm going to actually just disconnect it from your hip as well. It's caught in the front, right by the top of your hip flexor. So we'll just get that out of there and we'll get some healing in there. But I feel like you don't need surgery on it. So make sure you get a second opinion. Not that your doctor's wrong, but I just feel like you have so much emotion in there that's what's causing it. You can't make heads or tails of your emotion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will get a second opinion.
I would. For sure.
I have a consultation coming up, and that'll be my second opinion.
Perfect. And just voice all of your concerns. Hey, is this due to anger? Is this due to this? This is what's transpiring in my life. I've got a lot of emotions. Can I go purge that before you decide to cut me open and take it out when I don't need it? Right? Because some physicians will, that's their thing, slice and dice, right? I slice and dice to keep it in you.
Right.
Right? So we want to keep all of our stuff inside instead of taking it out, right? And especially all illness is created by emotion, right? There is no sidestepping that. That is 100%. Doctors may not acknowledge that. They may acknowledge it, right? If they understand the anatomy of the human body, how the human body reacts to things, then they should know that. So if you're just holding a lot of anger and frustration, why don't you just purge the anger and frustration and heal the body, right? So your inside your gallbladder is actually green, which is not good. So we'll just detox that, right? There's a lot of stuff showing up around your mom in childhood. So there's things in your childhood you're holding in there. So I would go in and I would kind of like just do a little bit of purging work for yourself and just release those emotions. Get out the memo app on your phone and just start talking. Hey, I didn't like when this happened when I was a kid. I didn't like being controlled. I didn't like being suppressed. Someone telling me I can't do things. So wherever that is showing up in your marriage or relationship, now do you see where that recurring pattern is happening, right? So when we stop these recurring I feel like your mom is not innocent in that, though. They're highlighting that 100%. Whether it's your dad or your mom, they both play a very big role.
My mom and I were very close, but she's passed.
But what did she do to help you with your dad?
She got me away from him. She
Did she help
him.
You with your dad? Yeah. So she didn't stand up for you, right? So it becomes into resentment and fear. And this will keep coming up in your relationships, right? So there,
Right.
your
I was
gallbladder's,
abused.
yeah, the gallbladder's not green anymore, so that's good. And then we'll
Oh,
disconnect
thank
it
you.
from. You're welcome. So now when you walk, your hip should feel better because it's not connected and pulling up. And then that leg feels like it's balanced
Okay.
out. So you just need to walk and it will all click into place. Everything will even out there.
Yes. I did break my pelvis when I was a teenager. I was 19 years old. It was years ago. It was in 1998. I was in a horrible car accident and I broke my pelvis in a couple places.
Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. So where it was fractured, it looks okay. You got a little bit of calcification happening in those breaks and stuff, but it's just like I adjusted your pelvis already to move the whole uterus structure backwards, right? Because it's sitting too far forward. So now that it's actually where it's supposed to be, that the hip flexor will behave itself and then it won't stop. It'll stop hitting onto the gallbladder and pulling it down. So everything feels free now inside of it. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're so very welcome. All right. Have a great rest of your day, my darling. If you want to book a reading, feel free. I would love to see you. So just before we take on our next caller, we are going to just finish our chat about like crystals and how to clear them in the moonlight. So with the crystals, you can put them in your windowsill. You can actually take them outside if you want to. Just be careful when you put them outside. If it's raining, some crystals don't like water. And they'll actually dissolve, so you won't find them in the morning. Some crystals actually don't like the cold either. So just be careful how you're, handling your crystals and allowing them to be, in your presence and in your space. And I would just sit with them after, like the next day when you bring them back from the windowsill or even your tarot cards, just sit with them for a second, collect that moon energy that's sitting on them, and then you can take that with you. Yeah. And, you can make this into a habit as well with the new moon and the full moon. Create your own cycle and your own system for yourself that says, okay, I'm going to manifest this one and purge on this one. Hey, Beatrix, how are you? So grateful that you're here.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
All right.
Awesome. So you can ask a question. I'm also doing healings with the questions as well. So if you have a question, feel free. If not, I can tap in for you.
I just wanted, like, if there was any message. My mom passed away a year ago. And I just wanted to know about her, like, if she had any messages or anything.
So I'm just going to run through a little bit of what she's showing me. She says she's sorry, and she's actually doing like a stranglehold where she has no words. So it's kind of like she didn't know how to convey what was going on in her body. I do want to tell you, she's showing me like the whole left side of her body, and she's showing me that it wasn't well for a really long time. She just didn't say. I feel like she knew there was more going on inside of her than what she was willing to let on, because she's saying, I don't want to speak about it. But she is saying, like, I'm always around you. I'm really proud of you. She does leave you money. So she said, pay attention if you're not seeing it. I'm also getting that, is there some stuff going on in your family still after her passing where I feel like not everyone is on board? It feels like there's still a little bit of background noise where people are arguing or fighting. It feels like there's stuff external from you. Not everything is given to you from those people. But I feel like she's telling me that they need to calm that down and they need to just find peace with it, because she's at peace and she wants you to know that she is totally at peace. And she doesn't want you to like take any of this stuff with you, the fear and the emotions. She's showing me you crying in your room. So I feel like you still have these emotions that you haven't finished grieving of. And she says, that's okay. I'm here to support you. And she shows me her hand on your left shoulder, that she's there to support you. So just know that you're not alone. Do you have a child? Do you have a son?
I have 3.
So I feel like it's the younger of the 3. Okay, so I'll go with the youngest one first, but there's one of your boys who's got some stuff going on with their tummy, their lower stomach. Everything below the belly button has to do with grandma passing. But she's saying, I watch over him the most. There's some things that he's going through that it's almost like he doesn't know how to say it. He doesn't know how to articulate it out, that he's got all these feelings and stuff going on inside of him. And I do feel like, see, I'm like trying to hold it back, but that's him. It's like, I want to cry, but I want to be strong. And I want to show you that this is wrong and tell you this is wrong. But then he backs up and says, I can't, because that's not manly, right? So there's part of him who thinks he can't express this stuff going on. And now I do want to address, my guides are like pushing this really big. So one of your kids has some stuff going on with the lower abdomen. It is a little bit of a concern because it feels very extended. It almost feels like the digestion isn't working properly. It feels like a little bit backed up for the bowel, but it almost makes them feel not well. Like there's some, it's pretty bad. But I almost feel like they want to like punch over all the time. Like when they sit, I almost don't even think that they could stand up perfectly straight. Like I feel like they're always in this position where like the knees are bent just to be able to give themselves some relief. I'm actually doing it now because it feels really weird. So I feel like that's a bit of a concern. That is just emotion. So I want you to know that it's a concern because they don't want to talk about the emotion. And your mom is highlighting this. She's saying you need to start talking to your children. There's stuff they don't want to share because they feel like it's not manly enough to share those things, and we need to be quiet. And I feel like she's showing me generations, this is how it's been. We're not allowed to share those emotions. You got to be the man. You got to own it. You got to stand up and suck it up and go back to work. And she's showing me that. She goes, it's time to break that. No more. And that goes for you too. It's like, it's okay to be sad, she's saying. She's like, I'll hold you and I'll comfort you. She's actually holding me, showing me her holding you in her arms as a baby. And she's telling me, I will hold you and I will carry you. But there's things as a mom that you need to step up and do. And it's going to make you a better mom. So what part of you doubts you're being a good mom because all this stuff happened and you're still grieving? She's saying, you're still a good mom. So stop thinking that you're not. But she's saying, now it's time for you to take charge. Now it's time for you to stand up and help all of you heal all of this. Not that she's ever going away. She's like, you're stuck with me forever. But you're going to start to heal. See, you know what I'm talking about. You're going to start to heal those wounds, that grief wound, so that all these rotations of things in your family lineage stop. And it stops with you standing up and saying, let's heal this together. Now, there's a male figure still close to you. He's telling me he's your grandfather. He's coming in on the right side of you. He's like the constant chit chat in your ear because he tells me he never shuts up. And that's him. That's not me. So he's a voice to be reckoned with. When you need the guidance and you need someone to push you that little bit more, he said, call on me. I will help you. And when I say that, he's saying, like, I will push you. And I mean, from the back, he's going to push you forward and say, you ready to get going? Like, we've held on to this enough now. Let's go. So he's just showing me, like, he's there to support you too. So never doubt that you're alone. Never doubt that you can't do this. You have the strength. And he's saying, we are going to back you. Right? So he's showing me there's probably like 25 people behind you. So they're all saying, we're going to back you. Right? So everything that you need, they have. You just have to ask them to give it to you. I also feel like for the last year and a half, you've struggled. And I don't mean like emotionally, physically. I mean like mentally, financially, like all of these things, little things here and there come in, and they creep in. And then they create a little bit of doubt with you. He said, you need to stop that right now because none of that is true. Don't trick your mind into thinking these things that are not 100%. Okay? But he is saying it's okay to cry. It's okay to grieve. We're here. And he's saying when you don't grieve and you don't let those tears out, you actually feel nauseous. So he's saying, like, don't suppress that part of it. Let that part go. Okay? By you crying and allowing those things to come out, it heals your internal stuff.
Does she have a message for my little boy?
I'm just hearing, I love you, and that's coming from everybody who's behind me. Like it's an echo. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. This keeps coming up though too. You're not a disappointment. So whoever you think you disappointed, you didn't disappoint anybody. I just keep hearing, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
When she passed, I didn't take my little boy or my little girl to her funeral. because I didn't want them to see her the way, like, remember her that way. And my little boy was so attached to her. And we've gone to visit her grave, and he doesn't like to go to her grave.
Yeah. So, I did that myself with my own children. When my grandparents passed, I never took them to see them because I wanted them to remember, even myself, that happened to me when my mom passed away. I wanted to remember her the way that I remembered her, but we still have to heal that. So the fact that he doesn't want to go, she said it's okay. She is behind him, supporting him, so it's okay. But I would let him know that she's never once not loved him. Whether he goes to her grave or not, she still loves him. And whether he went to go see her in the hospital or when she was ill at home, she still loves him. Right?
Yes, he has pictures of her, and he'll talk and he'll like remember her, but he don't really like to like when I ask him like, do you miss Bella and stuff like that, and that's just something like he doesn't express how he's feeling much, so that kind of like, I don't know, like it's just was kind of weird to me. That
I think just talk about the happy times, right? Whether he remembers them or not, it's what you can bring to the table to heal this.
And they were so like close. Yes, they were so close with each other, like crazy for each other.
So my guides are coming in, plus she's coming in to say this. Why don't you guys sit down, have a family night, and bring her in? Ask him if he can feel her touch. Because she sits there with her hands.
He's told me he's had dreams about her.
She's confirming, yes. But she said, now bring me in. Not in a dream state, bring me into your family. So sit down, have a family night, and bring her in. Ask her to come in and touch every single one of you so you can feel her presence. Because what happens when people pass over is they feel like they actually go somewhere when they die. Heaven is 3 feet off the floor. Where are they going to go? Right? Even she's like, see, I'm still here. So it's like we have to understand death first to understand how to teach it to our younger generations. When people pass over, they don't go anywhere, right? So it's by teaching them and showing them and allowing them these things, they will start to understand this in a different way. So she's saying, I will come in. You guys all need to sit down, and I'm going to come in and put my hands on you, and you're going to start to feel me, and then you're going to start to talk to me. All right. I have to wrap this up, but it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on with me. Thank you so much. I'm sending you and your family so much love. So sorry for your loss, but she is a Spitfire, and I love channeling her in. I hope this brings you peace, my darling.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
You're so welcome, honey. Much love. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today. I'm so grateful for all of you. Please check out, just launched a YouTube video today as well. I hope you guys love it, and I will see you guys soon. Much love. Mwah.